Stay tuned. The show is about to begin.
Well, hello, welcome to I'm Right. The show will be starting in approximately 2 minutes. But if you're listening to this in replay, you can
Stay
fast
tuned.
forward
The
past
show
this
is about to
portion
begin.
and get right into the show. Also, when you get into the show, if you're here live and our image is not fitting the screen, just pinch it down, and we'll come right into frame, which is good. Also, remember to use your emojis and react, so you can hit the clap, the party sound, or the laugh sound anytime during this show. And you can also use the other emojis that are in the lower right hand corner. You just click on those, select your emoji, and you can enter a comment there also if you wish. And you can also hit
Stay
the,
tuned.
sometimes
The
it
show is
says
about to
ask, sometimes it says comment, but you can hit a comment or a question by hitting that ask button or the comment question. Even if you'd like to come to the stage, you can do it there also. So that's about it, but we will be starting in just about any moment now, like in a little bit. So we will see you on video here in just a few moments. See you soon. Bobbleheads.
Welcome, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey,
Seems like
hey.
we've done this before.
A few times.
Yes, well, which is cool. Yeah, we have done it.
A few times over
little-
years. Done this for years.
Got a little bit. Yeah. It's like deja vu.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, shall we welcome our audience members?
Do we have an audience today?
We have two people in our audience at the moment live.
Cool. Who are they?
We have Angela 2023
Hi, Angela.
Hi, Angela.
How are you?
and we have Colleen.
Colleen. Hello, Colleen.
Hi, Colleen.
Hello. It's so good to see you.
Yes.
It's great to see you here.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if this is your first time of coming to this show, this is where we strive to have comical conversations about relationships. It's not always
We
funny.
strive to do that.
We don't always succeed,
We
honey.
strive
We
to
do not
do
always
that.
succeed. No, we do not.
I think I succeed, even if I'm laughing at myself.
You do laugh at yourself a lot.
Yeah,
Yes.
and more of us need to do that more often.
Laugh at ourselves?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Don't take
I
everything
probably laugh
too,
at myself more than people laugh at me.
too seriously. Yeah,
I think I do.
probably. Probably. It's very rare that people like laugh at you. They might
At
laugh
me,
with
personally?
you. They might laugh with you, but not
People laugh at
you.
me.
Now people laugh at me all the time because Who knows what I'll do to screw
this-
things up?
This is
Who knows
well,
what I
you don't
will
go out of your way
say?
to screw things up. But
No, it's just
there's
who
no
I
telling
am.
what you will say or do. That is definitely true there.
It's just who I am. That's what I do.
I don't know what that accent is, but okay. And
Darling,
Colleen
that's
says,
what I do.
Colleen
It's
says
the
hi
way
to
it
both
happens.
of us. Hey, Colleen.
Hi, Colleen.
Hope you're doing well today. Okay, so today's what we get right into our episode because this is a half-hour show. So if you want to say something, do it fast.
Jill says it's a half hour tonight.
It
but
is.
We will
And I've
see.
even told-
Hey, hello there, really, Charlie. Good to see you.
I have even told Tony that if at the bottom of the hour, if
Jill
he's not
says-
wrapping it up, I am out,
Jill says
gone,
Jill
missing from the set.
Jill says it's a 30-minute show.
It is
today.
a 30-minute show.
I'm not sure because we might be having an incredible conversation with our audience at the time. And if that is the way it is, we need to go past 30 minutes.
I will
Because
not.
there might be.
I will not leave them wanting more. I was a TV news producer. I know how to get out on time regardless of what's happening in the show.
But our show is typically an hour.
Because you made it
But
that
now
way.
all of a sudden you want to switch up.
No.
Switch it up.
No, for
But we-
over a year and a half now, I've been wanting to get back to the way it was, where we had a hard out.
Well, that was
Hard out.
That was in our regular podcast where it was pre-recorded, so it was easy to make it.
It's still
a
the same thing. This is
30-minute
being
show.
recorded.
We-
It's still the same thing. We can still do
we
it.
did
We
not-
are fully capable
We-
of making
the
this an
difference-
hour-long show. If we were on TV, they would make you get out, or else that you would just be like, and then you're gone because they went to the next programming item, and I don't know why you're making that face. But let's get into our topic. We're spending too much time arguing about
We're
what
not
time
on
this
a
show.
network. We're not on a network.
We are on
we are
the
live.
Cordova Network.
We
Yes,
don't
we
have
are.
commercials. We don't have commercials, and no one else is pulling our strings. So
I'm pulling
if
your
we
string.
happen to have just like this amazing
why are you fighting
conversation
me on
going
this?
on, well,
Why
we'll
can't
see
you
what
just get out
we'll see what
on
happens.
time?
It's up to the audience.
It is not up to
up to the
you do not
audience.
give control of your show to the audience.
It's up
you
to
do
the
not
audience.
do that. Mm-mm.
If they
I will not stand for that.
valuable input.
I do believe our audience is
valuable, and I cherish our audience.
I
So
cherish our audience
if-
too, but you can train an audience to
if
know that if they have something,
train.
Yes.
We need to train our audience.
we need to
Oh
train
my
the
God,
audience
oh my
to
God.
know what time our show
Oh
is,
my
what
God.
time it ends, because if they want to say something,
Oh my God.
they'll do it ahead of time.
Well, you know,
I know you don't like the word train.
you know, Jill. We have
And hi, Nadine. And
Hi,
Charlie
Nadine.
says 30 minutes is just a tease.
That's just a tease.
You
See?
know, I'm
No.
right, Charlie. You know, I'm right.
Hey, look here. Look, as most of you know, we have 4 distinctly different shows.
So on your
On
shows, you can go
Fireside.
over. But when I'm involved on air, I'm out. Your talent will leave. It's at the half-hour mark. I'm out.
The talent. Anyway, so yeah, now you have a point. Now in my show, the other show, the Soul Reader show, yes, I often do go long.
Yes, we all know this.
Often, and we're not talking 30 minutes. We're talking over
One time
an hour.
he went. Yes, one time he went over an hour long.
Yeah, one time it was almost 2 hours, but it was serious business. You know, that people.
It was
needed-
serious. So
people needed
that's why I
some-
said on your shows you can do that, because we want people to feel better. And
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're in the middle of helping them, of course, you should continue to help. That's
Yeah.
what you should do.
Yeah.
But that is not this show.
Oh, this show provides valuable input. Valuable.
Why don't we
you
get to
going
the topic?
devalue us?
We need
this
to
is
get to the
I'm
topic
This
so
now-
that we can get
hey,
out.
Look, most of the time, even though the show is called I'm Right
I'm
and
right.
she thinks she's right,
I know I'm right.
this is one of those times where we actually disagree. At least tonight
Why
we
are you
do.
changing the topic? Let's get to the topic so that we can
I'm
get
right.
out
I'm
of the
right.
show.
Tonight I'm right. So we'll see what
You
happens.
are not. You are not.
We'll see what happens.
You are not.
We'll see what happens.
Tonight's episode is called Therapy or Bust. And it's based on, I think it was years ago. Time is a lost concept for me these days. But a woman wrote an op-ed, an opinion piece, saying that she would not date anyone who had never been to therapy or refused to go, because she wanted to know that they were willing to work on themselves. So what do you think of that? Therapy or bust?
Well, I think the issue I find is that a woman, I'm not even going to say a woman, I'm going to say a person insists that one of their criteria for dating anyone is that they have been to therapy or they will go to therapy after they get in a relationship. And it's not up to another person to decide whether a person should go to therapy or not. It's up for that person themselves, if they want to go to therapy, to decide they want to go to therapy.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. Actually, I don't like that phrase. I'm just going to say, I'm just going to talk. So what if the person doesn't realize they actually probably need to go to a
Yes, but
therapist?
it's still up to them to make a
Well,
decision.
no one can force you to go unless you get
Exactly.
you
But
sent
for
there.
a person to say, my criteria for dating someone, and a person can say that, but they may be doing themselves a disservice if they say, I'm only going to date a person that is in therapy or is willing to go to therapy.
Well, let's look at something.
Not everyone. No, I've been to therapy, but
I have too.
not everyone actually needs to go to therapy.
And I've had therapists to tell me, like they didn't know why I was there. But I wasn't, and they said I was fine. But to me, fine is a 4-letter word. I didn't want to be just fine. I wanted to be great. I wanted to do that. But let's talk about something you often bring up when we're talking about people who have done something that maybe other people didn't agree with. You have said, well, let's look at the reason why they did what they did, right? So I'm betting that the woman who wrote this piece had dated people who probably needed a therapist and didn't. And she had decided, based on those things, that next time she dates someone, they at least have to have that. Like that,
Yeah,
like there's that reason. But also we don't know the full story, but maybe her picker was off.
Exactly.
And that's usually the case with most people.
And maybe the person that, like for this particular person saying she wouldn't date someone unless they're in therapy. Okay, so let's take that. Let's say she takes someone that is in therapy. She's going to date them because they're in therapy, okay? But maybe they're in therapy because they're not able to have a healthy relationship because of what they are going through. And this is why they're at therapy. Sometimes we don't need to date when we're going through certain things. So
sometimes we need that time for ourselves.
Yes, we're
to let do our own self-care, do our own healing with the help of a professional,
a professional therapist,
and then we can reemerge.
We date. So setting that up for a criteria, is
it wasn't that they have to be in therapy active. It's that they they either have seen a therapist or are willing to go.
Yeah, but really, that whole thought process to me is flawed.
Well, but what about the churches that say if you get married at this church, you have to see the preacher
Well,
three
yeah,
times?
that's pre-marriage counseling.
Some people see that as therapy.
Actually,
Like couples
oh
therapy.
no. This is all I'm going. I can only talk about my experience
Yes.
in pre-marriage counseling.
Yes, which we did not
We did
have.
not do, but I had done pre-marriage counseling before, and I did not marry. End up. Oh wait, I did.
You totally forgot about a marriage?
Oh, wait, so anyway,
That's funny.
anyway, I went to this pre-marriage counseling at the church that we were attending.
Hang on a second. Colleen
on.
is having she says we keep freezing and she loses connection.
Oh,
is
you for
everyone
letting us
else
know.
Is anyone else having the same issue? I just
I-
want to see if it's across the board.
Yeah, we get a message when the signal goes weak, and I haven't seen those messages. So I don't know if anyone else is having that issue. Usually, know if anyone else is having that issue. Usually, side.
Okay, Charlie says it's good where he is.
Okay.
Thank you, Charlie.
Okay.
And sorry, Colleen. I hope it
Sorry,
gets
yeah,
better,
you-
the
you
connection.
might have a weak signal.
Okay. She says she's okay again now.
Okay, cool. But
Okay.
thank you for giving us a heads up on that.
And speaking of Charlie, he says the suggestion of therapy, an interesting
Perhaps.
perspective.
So, but okay, now let's go back to my and thank you for that, Charlie. That input. So let's go back. So, I went to pre-marriage counseling with a woman I was engaged to.
That you married.
Yeah, I try not to remember that. And just for the record, I filed for divorce 1 month after the marriage.
Oh boy.
1 month. 1 month. Definitely was a mistake. But anyway, we went to pre-marriage counseling, and that started a whole big fight. and
Just going started a fight?
afterwards
Oh,
it created a big fight.
been there.
And it was justified. Okay. This is
The
what
fight was justified?
The fight was definitely justified. Okay.
I'm not following, but okay, go ahead.
So we went to this pre-marriage counseling at the church we were attending at the time. And the counselor was a female woman. Of course, she's female, she's a woman. She's female, she's a woman. That's just like saying canine dog. It was a canine dog. You know. So anyway, okay. So we're in there and we're talking to the counselor, and the counselor is asking these questions, and my fiance was answering, and I was answering.
Well, she's
And
not good for you, but I am.
Yes. And well, she was right about my fiance was not good for me, but this counselor started saying, "Oh, I'm a single mom, and I have a young son, and it seems like you would be a very good positive image to him. And what do you like to do in your free time?" And she would say, I like going dancing. Do you like to go dancing? And all of these things, but she was clearly hitting on me.
Were you answering the questions?
Vaguely. I kind of, I knew what she was doing. All right. So
that time you knew.
that time I knew, yes.
Tony doesn't often know when people are flirting
Yeah,
with him. So
because
that's
she
why
was
I
like
said that.
really obvious. Really, really, really obvious. And she was saying things like, are you sure you two need to be together? And why do you want to get married? And, all of these leading questions. And so, of course, when we left the place, my fiance was furious with good reason. This time she had good reason. She was hitting on you. What kind of mess is that? That a marriage counselor, pre-marriage counselor will hit on you. So I don't think the counselor had any types of for certification or anything like that. Just they decided that she would be the marriage
They who?
counselor.
The church?
Yes,
Oh.
probably.
Yes, because Frankie Chase was married the first time. I thought the marriage was over, but I wanted to give it my all to see if it could be salvaged. So
Okay.
I got my now ex-husband to go to a counselor with me, and lo and behold, his answers were absolutely beautiful. During that whole session, he said everything right. Everything. It was beautiful. And the therapist, who was certified, was really impressed and even called me later and says, "Oh, you all are definitely going to make it. You all are really good together." But what the therapist did not know was the minute we got it, we got there, we drove together to get there. And so as soon as we got in the car, he cursed me out and said the answers that he really wanted to say to the questions. So some people can, to go back to the woman who wanted to make sure she wouldn't date anyone that hadn't been to therapy or would never go. Some people were like, okay, I'll go to therapy and then say all the right things, but there's still something quite wrong.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
They could play the part. They could be deceptive still,
Yes.
and you're not any further along than you were if they had never gone.
Yeah. So I think a person that I think a person that service, because it sets you up. Like you said, the person might say, yeah, okay, well, I can deceive a therapist.
Yep. And did.
Right. So you
But
think
not
this
me.
person is
Didn't
going to
deceive
therapy and doing the right things, and you think you have this great person, but you end up with someone that's just deceptive that
Right.
knows,
That's
if you are dating a person or you're thinking about marrying this person, like you think they may be marriage material, but you see some really odd behavior, okay? You're like, oh, I really love this person, but this person thinks that I'm from a shadow organization that's out to do them in. Okay, but I really love them. Okay, so that person may need therapy. So in a case like that, I would say to that person, I really think you need to get therapy for this, issue you're having, because I would never do anything to hurt you. And for you to believe that I am part of the Illuminati and I'm out to get you, maybe you need some therapy, because I am not a part of the Illuminati. I'm not a part of a secret organization. I love you. I care about you. But if that person does not want to go to therapy, then you have to say to yourself, oh no, then this is a person I don't need to be with. So I agree with that. So if you person I don't need to be with. So I agree with that. So if you know would make you think they need therapy, if they're not willing to do that, yeah, by all means, break off the relationship. You know.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the bottom line for me. We can only control ourselves. Even if someone goes to therapy, you can't control them or what they're going to do,
Exactly.
their behavior, or what they're going to do or say. Tell you at that time, you have to go too. I did not say that to you because it wasn't. I mean, yes, we were a couple, but it was what I was dealing with and what I needed to get to the root of.
Yeah.
So, bottom line for me is, maybe just get the therapy for yourself, and therefore maybe your picker will be better.
Yeah. But during the time we were married, while we were married,
We're still married.
while we were married, this thing happened. This is
Oh,
what I'm saying. Okay.
we are still married, everybody.
This didn't take place before we were married. This took place while we were married.
Well, not the trauma, not the root of the trauma.
No. But I'm talking about myself now. Jill would say to me, but you have to get some help. There's something wrong. You have to get some help.
I didn't
And
say you have to. I just said you
you
need
need
help.
some you
need help.
some help. So I was suffering from depression. Um, and I was in denial about depression, that I was depressed. And eventually I did go. And I did many other things that were proactive to handle the depression. So that's what I did. So yes, therapy can be good. Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
Yes, it can, because
Yep.
you and I have both gone to therapy separately, not,
Hmm.
for our own things that we wanted to understand and approach. Um and I think that made us better because we could bring back those tools that we gained and knew about ourselves. Um and make
Hmm.
our make us
Therapy can be good if you have a good therapist and if you keep an open mind when you go to therapy.
yes.
It's very,
Don't
very
say what you
important.
think they want to hear. Say what you really think, and then maybe you can get to the root of it.
Yeah.
If there's a problem that you need help with. And back to your point that you made earlier, not everybody needs therapy.
Yeah, this is true. Not everyone needs therapy. A lot of us do,
A lot of
though.
us do, but not everybody. Nope.
Oh, yeah. Hey, let me tell you something, people. You may not want to hear this, but if you grew up in a dysfunctional household, the chances that you need therapy is very high. If you grew up in that type of home from when you were a child, chances are you're kind of all screwed up. So get some
tell-
therapy.
Don't tell people they're screwed up, sweetheart.
No, but this is true. I'm not saying everyone. I'm saying if you grew up in a dysfunctional home. So if you grew up in an alcoholic home, chances are you're going to need some therapy. If you grew up in a violent home, chances are you're going to need some therapy, especially chances are you're going to need some therapy environment, any kind of abusive household growing up as a child is going to affect you, period. It is. I'm sorry, but it is.
I'm always when I think about people, humans,
Okay.
and all more what I marvel about more is the brain.
Oh,
Because
yes.
whatever you think, that's true. That's your reality. Whatever you think about yourself, that is true because that's what you're exhibiting. You know? Now, some people will try to tell you you're something that you're not. But our brains can either, it's the fight or flight, like you can either accept what people say to you and about you or count them, dismiss them as haters, as I do.
Yeah.
But it can still mess with you because you're like,
why
am I being targeted today?
Well, that's true. But, the mind, with me talking about growing up in a dysfunctional household, and yes, it's 30 minutes right now. I've been keeping track. So, according to Jill, show's over.
It is. We got to say goodbye.
I'm in the middle of
you can finish your thought.
Of a comment. Oh my gosh. Ooh.
I'm a producer.
Yeah.
Finish your thought.
So Jill was talking about the mind being an incredible thing and how strong we are as people. So I was talking about, growing up in a dysfunctional household. Now, sometimes we, especially as children, will experience things that are so traumatic that we block it out.
Because our brain allows us to.
It's like a
it's
safety.
Our defense.
It's a safety
valve. It's a
valve.
defense mechanism.
So we'll block it out.
That's what happened to me. My doctors were telling me I had trauma, PTSD, and I'm like, from what?
From what? Yeah, exactly. It's something that we couldn't handle as children, so our mind will block it out. Even when it's blocked out, it's not gone.
No, because little things can trigger it.
It's not gone. So one day it will come back up. And quite often, sometimes, it will cause us to behave certain ways. And we don't know why we behave a certain way, but it's because of that trauma that we went through still weighs on us. So even though our minds are great and can block things out, it doesn't go away and it can still affect us unless we get some therapy and talk about it. So yes, therapy is a good thing.
Yes, I was relieved that
should do it.
With technology comes advancements in healthcare as well, and I was grateful that there's a type of therapy where you can remember the trauma without reliving it. Two very different things.
Oh yes.
And once I was able to remember it, I could handle it. I faced it. I can handle it now.
And that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
That's a wow. Okay.
So, as I was saying at the top of the show, most of the time we strive to have comical conversations about relationships, and sometimes we don't succeed.
That is true. 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 So, do what you wish. I just follow what the puppet master tells me to do.
And at the beginning of the show, he says no one pulls his strings. Didn't you all hear that? You heard him say that, right?
Obviously, I was not right.
You are not my puppet, sweetheart. Never are you my puppet. Well, before we get out, is there anyone that wants to talk about this topic? This topic only. Anybody? Going once? Going twice.
Well, everybody's
this topic.
Watching you pull my strings.
Here are my hands. I'm not pulling your strings.
Oh, puppet master.
Well,
that's one thing I did like about our regular podcast is that I would edit the audio on every show. And I could make Jill say whatever I wanted her to say. And I really enjoyed that.
On that note, I think it's time to close out this show. Thank you all for coming tonight, listening to us just rant, I guess.
Yes, and we really do love you all.
We do.
We love you all.
We do.
For real.
For real.
Next week, Jill, do we know what our show is next week?
I have no idea.
We have no
Something.
idea.
I don't know.
We have a list somewhere.
We do have a list.
Somewhere.
I don't know. But we are back next week.
We will be back next week. Next week, we'll be back. Next week.
Well, thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a good evening or morning, whatever time zone you're in. I hope the rest of the day goes well for you.
Me too.
Thank you, everybody. Cutting out.
I hope we see you next week.
Yeah, me too. I love you.